From the geekiest state in America.
Hello, Salt Lake City!
And the college that brought you Pixar, Atari, and Adobe.
Oh my.
This is the Geekwave.
The Geekwave.
Geekwave, I choose you!
Presented by K-Ute Radio.
Yo, what's up, guys? This is Ollie, and this is the Geekwave.
Hello, everybody.
Hey.
Hi, guys!
We have a very special guest here today.
We do.
Why don't you introduce yourself so that I don't have to try and pronounce your last name?
Excellent. Well, it is a tricky one. So my name is Ross Przybylski. It's pronounced nothing like it's spelt. So I'll give you that as a tip right off the bat.
I was saying like Przybylski, whiskey.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, I've been called alphabet soup. Buy me a vowel. I got all kinds of good.
That's good. But when they have
Sorry to interrupt.
Yeah. Well, it was great because Ross was telling us earlier about how you have the great little dance that you can do have people remember.
So my brother, he's a dare officer, and he goes to the students, and they always had trouble memorizing his name. So he gets up from the class and he just says, "All right, class, it's Officer Przybylski," and he puts his finger up and goes to his mouth and goes, shh, like you're saying, quiet, everybody. Bill, like you're asking for money, and ski, and he kind of does a little he's kind of skiing in front of the class, sort of a thing. It's a great thing. So I've started incorporating that now. I really liked it a lot.
Nice.
So I kind of use these images in my decks to do the same thing. It's just a great icebreaker.
That's good. Well, Ross, you are a very cool guy. So maybe you can would you give our lovely listeners a little lowdown on what your past experiences have been, what you're kind of doing now, and then we'll dive right in.
Sure, absolutely. So I am a 10-year plus games industry veteran. I got my start in the industry designing board games. Later, started my own company, creating a digital board game. Launched one of the first cross-platform games for mobile, iOS, Android, and PC. And then for the past 4 years, I had worked at Electronic Arts as a AAA mobile game producer. And recently, I've left the company to pursue creation of a new startup and a new mobile project.
Wow. That's fantastic. You're a man of many talents.
Kind of one of those people where at the meetings he's like, "Oh, I've already done that."
I like it. Well, he has the experience. No, that's really cool. Well, okay, so maybe tell us, so people, I think everybody knows EA. That's a pretty big entity out there. Maybe tell us a little bit. I think a lot of our audience is interested in what kind of your experience has been with EA and such.
Oh, absolutely. So yeah, EA is an awesome place to get in the industry. Just a wealth of opportunity. They hire some of the most top industry talent. And during my time there, I had the pleasure of working with some really awesome people, artists, art directors, game designers, engineers, product managers, marketing. Get to meet the legal team. Everybody. And it's just, you can't not learn in an industry with that kind of size and that kind of resource.
Yeah.
It's just a phenomenal experience.
Yeah, that's cool. You got to meet the legal team. That sounds.
Oh yeah,
I've never
we
thought
talked
of
a lot.
it that way.
Yeah, I know.
With so many people working around you in so many different disciplines, you're bound to learn every day.
Absolutely.
No, that's cool. What would you say is the most unique piece of knowledge you picked up?
The most unique piece of knowledge. Oh man, so it's hard to narrow that down.
I bet.
That's a really weird question.
I know that is a weird question.
It's a weird, unique piece. All right, so I'll say probably one of the most useful things I've picked up in my time there that's helping me sort of in what I'm doing now is just a broader understanding of the free-to-play game economy system and how to create a successful business around free-to-play for games.
Interesting. Really, yeah. Well, and that's free-to-play is a very there's a lot of things you can talk about there.
EA is pretty well known for free-to-play. For better or for worse, depending on who you ask in the community.
Oh yeah, we could go for hours debating the pros and cons of a paid download, one-time purchase versus free-to-play. But I got to tell you, with the time there and just sort of seeing that process, I'm pretty sold and have really strong feelings that is the future of where games are heading, and that if you want to make a successful mark in this industry, you got to kind of expand your mind and be open to the possibility that games are not just a one-stop deliverable, but a long and lifetime service to your customers and your players.
That's a good philosophy. That's very nice.
If anything, it'll more or less ensure that people keep up with the quality of the games.
Yeah, that's what
because there has to be constant upkeep in order to keep up that kind of market plan.
Yeah, I think that's an amazing mindset. So long as a company takes it beyond just the money making scheme and actually like the value of the game itself. If you can make a game that is a lifelong service to your customers, there you go.
Absolutely.
Well, you always will have people continue to play it, and that's the best games, I think, do that. I think that's something that we all strive for. But so, Ross, the reason why we were so lucky to be able to have you on the episode, and the reason why you were here, is because you did a very special talk last night. For us, it's because technically we record the episodes early. It's tonight, but can I hopefully
don't divulge our secrets?
Exactly. Hopefully that episode it'll go well.
Yeah, we have to drop that once a week.
I know.
when somebody screws up the date.
It's so great. It's always great. We're always like we'll be talking about something that by the time you hear this will have already happened. But for us, we have no idea what's going to happen.
It's all about the silk curtain you're putting in front of the audience there.
Exactly.
Put on the show. Sell what's going on here. Don't let them know the sauce.
Yeah, it used to be to where we would position our words and stuff to where it was like we were in the future talking in the past. And then I came in and stuff and it's like, no guys, it hasn't happened yet. It starts today, doesn't it? And they're like, no.
But yeah,
way to take a blowtorch to that silk curtain.
Yeah, so you are giving a talk at its Indie Game Night.
Indie Game Night, yes, here on the wonderful University of Utah campus. I'm so stoked to be here, by the way. So the talk's going to be, or the talk is, I'm not sure where to go with this now.
We're going back to the future.
We're going back in time in the future, bending mind. That's great. So anyway, I was at the Union last month's event was a panel of different industry experts giving their advice about how to start a startup. And one of those experts, Stacey, he's the CEO of WildWorks, made this really great statement that I couldn't have agreed more with. And what he said was, starting and failing a business is like getting a fully paid MBA education. And I was pondering on that in my first time at the bat with this starting a company and doing a game and thinking about, man, that is so on the mark. And I thought, what better way to kind of, pay it forward to the other developers out here in the community than to kind of share some of my experience so that others can kind of, take a bit of that knowledge and hopefully find a way to help, save them some trouble in their own endeavors going forward. So the talk's about sort of where I failed in that business. I had a lot of successes, but what ultimately landed it to not become a fully sustainable business, and what I've learned in my time as an indie and as a AAA producer to create a successful business plan, or what I believe will be successful this time around.
Yeah, that's awesome. Well, and you were also telling me earlier that you are now starting up a series of episodes, right? It's a YouTube channel or a YouTube series?
Yes. I'm very excited about that. So, like I said, I'm one of those people that doesn't believe in things like trade secrets or hiding knowledge. I think that by giving back to others and being open and sharing that, you create an abundance out there and you give more people the chance to innovate and create innovative products, and it just sort of enriches the market space. So the goal of the channel, it's called How to Start a Game Company. It was inspired by a post I did almost 4 years ago for the college I went to, North Central. And the talk was about how to start a game company. And it was really poor production quality. I recorded on my personal video camera. But this video has garnished over 4 months worth of view time. And this was done without any kind of marketing promotion. And I'm kind of dumbfounded. If you go to Google and search this right now, it's a top hit on the videos that come up for how to start a game company. And I don't know how that happened, but it kind of occurred to me there's an audience for this. There's a demand for this. People are craving this kind of level of insight. So I thought, why not just try something simple? I do a post every week. I get feedback from the listeners or the subscribers, and then I answer their questions and just sort of, we're going to see where that goes, I guess.
Wow. You are the first hit. It's right there. Wow, Ross. That's insane. So what is this going to be like a weekly episode that we see, or kind of what's the format that we should expect?
Yeah, so right now it's just a weekly episode. I go to a different room in my house and film it. Last week's episode, somebody had asked a question about how to protect your game IP, and I thought that was an outstanding question. Nice. It was a lot of fun to answer because, my sort of thesis was, you really can't. And you just sort of have to go with that and be prepared unless you're willing to invest thousands of dollars in legal rabbit holes. But so, just a real quick once a week. And then, any kind of other opportunities where I'm out there in the community speaking, I like to get those recorded too. And then I'll post those under speaking events. And, it's just sort of meant to be like a nice resource where people can kind of reach out, have a chance to connect with someone if you're unsure of like who to ask for advice or who to get connected to. I just, it's just sort of a free thing I'm offering to help volunteer and help people out.
Yeah, really. Yeah. That's awesome, Ross. I love that. That's such a refreshing just view on life. I know Jerem laughs because there's so many people out here there who do want to protect their secrets. I don't think that's a bad thing. I understand people have great talents, but I think it's a really good thing when someone wants to give back. Oh, and I think that's really admirable. So nice job.
it's admirable, and in a way, it's self-serving as well. And it's sort of the weird coincidence I found. Like the greatest success in my career has come not from the games I've made, which I am very proud of, and love the products I make, but it's been the moments of connection with other people. Like I go to a random conference, and it's those times where I reach out and go, hey, I noticed you're looking at getting some more help or information. Is there a way I can help? That you sort of bridge this gap, and then monumental things happen. The whole reason I'm here in Utah was actually because back in the day, I volunteered to help Adobe do some technical writing for their website.
Oh, nice.
That got the attention of a headhunter at EA, and they said, we're looking for somebody that's got this kind of knowledge set. Can you come help manage our engineering team? And I said, yeah, EA, let's see here on my list of publishers in the world. They're on the top, of the chart. I would love the opportunity to come work with you guys. So
that's so cool.
So if I hear you correctly, what you're saying is that if you're selfless, people will like you.
I don't know. There's just a weird thing about that. People like the underdog. They like the guy that's willing to extend the olive branch. Nobody likes the guy that's like, I'm so great and I know everything, right? It's you gotta just be giving, be chill, just have a good time.
Be chill.
I don't know. Yeah, it's just that attitude I just found to be just kind of like the nice wavelength.
I'm going to put that in big serif letters on my wall. Be chill.
Be chill.
Be chill, guys.
Just have a close Ross.
I remember a professor here at EA telling me one time that you can have all the skills in the world and you can be a master programmer, but if you don't know how to communicate or stuff like that, it really doesn't matter. And he was he used to be hiring and stuff for getting programmers, designers, just people who knew stuff. And he would always go through the base, what you need to know. But then after that, it was more of a check to see, can you work with the rest of the geniuses that I've hired?
Yeah. Oh, I couldn't agree more, Lee. That's just as a kind of a tip for aspiring people that want to work at companies like EA. I would say that's half the interview process. So we absolutely look at things like your programming skill, your background, your projects. But, fundamentally above all else, you got to be a great communicator. You've got to be a team player. You got to know how to work well with teams. And you got to know how to sell yourself, how to pump up and really, make your accomplishments look good without feeling like you're, self-absorbed, right? I'm a person that's a team player and gives back. That's the hireable attitude. That's the candidate I want on my team for sure.
That's really cool. That's awesome. Well, okay, so you've had a great experience with EA and stuff, and now you're giving back, but you're also working on a new game. That's correct, right?
Yes, I've taken the big leap. We're going full time at this now. It's terrifying and exciting at the same time.
And is this game? So your original game that you released was Hero Mages, right?
That's right.
And is this at all related to that? Where did how do these have any are they interconnected at all?
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. So the new game is called Prophecies.
Okay.
It is a spiritual successor is what I'm calling it to the first one. And I'm sort of unique. A lot of independent developers sort of have this portfolio of ideas. They've got all kinds of different little games they want to make. They can't quite decide. They want to do them all. I get very fixated. And I was so fixated on my first product. And I believe so much in the potential of it there that I'm like, I've got to figure this out. I know I missed something the first time around. This is a success, and I just got to figure out what I did wrong. Mm-hmm. And so I'm sort of taking on the learnings of, like I said, all this industry experience I've gained, going back as another post-mortem. I go back every few years and rethink what I did wrong, and then I do things differently. And that's sort of what's got me to this place where I now feel comfortable that I've made the right choice to really invest and build something out of this new game.
That's really cool. So you're I like how you're going off of the knowledge that you have. You're realizing, what is happening. You're seeing how you can become stronger from that instead of completely just shoving that away and being like, I'm putting that in the closet, never to look at it again,
Exactly.
Okay, so what is this new, how much can you say about Prophecies?
I'm open and willing to talk about whatever you like.
Well, so what is the game like? I know you were saying that it was targeted at an audience of people who used to play D&D Warhammer, right?
Oh, yeah. So let's start with the core problem.
Okay, go
right?
for it.
This is the part I missed the first time, was knowing who the audience was. Right?
Okay.
Key part of starting a gamer business is know your audience, know how big they are, know what you can potentially reach. So there's a very particular type of gamer I'm looking for, right?
Mm-hmm.
There's a sweet spot niche. They are 24 to 34-year-old males that used to play games like Dungeons and Dragons, Magic the Gathering, Warhammer Tabletop, really deep, strategic, nerdiest of nerds, geekiest of geek-style games with the 80-page rulebooks, right? And we were hardcore into that stuff back in the day. Oh, yeah. But the problem is we've grown up. We have jobs that are full-time. We have families. We have little kids. And the sad but hurtful truth is we just don't have the time to invest in that kind of style game anymore. We're just too busy.
Yeah.
So the aim of Prophecies is to find a way to rekindle that and to give back that experience, but to do so in a way that takes advantage of what I call the fleeting moments of time. So a fleeting moment of time is I get into the car, my kids are loaded up, and I'm waiting for my wife. I have roughly 3 minutes. I can stop watch it for you.
Man, you have a lot of time if you're getting.
I know. I give my wife a lot of.
Slightly offended.
I don't mean to come off
3
as
minutes
offensive.
is lightning fast.
It's just a reality. I don't know. Maybe
I'm
some.
usually the first one in the car.
Well, to be fair, my wife is she is the one who thinks of all the things I don't think of, like, oh, we forgot the kids' water. We need to get the sunscreen to go to the beach, or we're all gonna get burned. Like I've got this mass burn on my arm right now from last time.
That's me in my relationship. They're like, she's like, let's go. And I'm like, do we have everything yet?
Yeah.
Let me get my checkbook scroll out.
Remember, I'm the chill person, so somebody's got to be the
he's the
responsible
chill.
person. My wife is the responsible person. She takes care of us. But so that's the time frame for games, and I've talked to a lot of similar folks, a lot of my existing players, and we were all in the same predicament. We don't. That's the time we have, and that's a sweet spot because it's a 3-minute window that could be lost. But I want to take that 3-minute window and transform that into a flashback, if you will, to regaling on these old adventures of rolling your dice and throwing your cards and casting your spells, and enable players to have that again on their phones.
I would be very impressed if you could get that same feel from like that, like you were saying, casting your spell, rolling your dice. If you can fit that within 3 minutes, that is an achievement.
I'm excited to see this.
Yeah, because in my personal opinion, with tabletop games and those hardcore strategy games, a lot of it is
It's a long process.
Well, yeah, and it's the process. It's also the excitement in the moment is that you're not just facing some AI, right? You're facing the DM across the table or the other Magic player, and so I am curious how you intend to capture some of that.
I just got like a window. I just got a window as to why Jerem plays Hearthstone.
That's true.
But Jerem also despises Magic, or rather, he despises losing at Magic.
You despise Magic? Why
I
do you
don't despise
Magic?
Magic.
Despise might be a little bit of a strong word.
I don't know about that. The last time we played Magic, you were quite angry.
I was very not happy.
He was disgruntled.
He was flustered.
It's just that Magic. I think Magic is far too complicated of a game, and it feels like no matter how much effort you put into Magic, there will always be like an entire mechanic of the game that you can't account for, and I don't like that the game is built to like.
I couldn't agree more. It's one of the reasons I love that game and why I was so good at it back in the day was that so key to Magic the Gathering, the key to winning at that game is to become a master of the rules and understand every mechanic and be the guy that can be like, I'm sorry, you can't play that spell. Rule section 34AB.C version 2 states that you cannot draw mana if or whatever the thing is. And I was that guy.
Another word is like get good, as with
like,
every other game out there.
Especially, I know some people are gonna hate me for saying this, but so I've played Hearthstone for so long that now I play Magic, and I'm like, there's just too much here. And Hearthstone simplifies everything
I'll
into
tell you,
a game
yeah.
where you can just focus on the strategy and trying to think of what your opponent does next. And it's more like it's more like chess. Whereas Magic
streamlined.
is more like you have a 32-32 monster. It doesn't matter. I have a 1/1 that can block it every time.
That's what I do.
Nice.
Honestly, the blocking mechanic is probably the biggest
32
thing.
doesn't work if my monster has flying and yours doesn't.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
The mechanic of blocking is probably the biggest thing I hate about Magic.
Trample, man. It's called trample. That's what you got to have.
I already
I
told
like-
him that and gave him a card with the exact
See,
effect
you've
he
got
needed.
expert advice here, and you're blowing it off. Learn from the lady.
I think we're gonna make Solar/Jerem / whatever you want to call him. Play. I think we need you to play Magic on video. I now want to
Against
see
Kimmy.
this
It would be
against
funny.
Kimmy. I think that'd be great.
That's the thing is that
I'd
it's
watch
like,
that.
There you go, Russ.
See?
Watch it.
I would watch that. I'd like to see you get
It's funny too because I'm decent enough at strategy games, and I have like a deck that's like kind of well composed.
Yeah.
And so it's like it wasn't like I was losing against Kimmy
Oh, heavens
until
no.
the end
He
when
had like
she just
18
like.
hit points and I had 6, and then I kept whittling him down.
And I'm
he
just
got
like,
to
I
2
have these huge monsters on the field that can't do anything.
because I got a beautiful sorcery card.
Oh.
That's how I
That's-
operate.
That's called living on the edge.
yeah.
Living on the
You gotta
edge.
win the game. The goal is to
Oh,
win the
yeah.
game with 1 life left. So you can just be like,
I had
oh.
how many did I have? 6.
So
6,
close.
I think. Oh yeah.
Oh, Ross. Well, I think Ross, that you have some good challenges in this game coming up.
Oh yeah.
So how does the like? Can you kind of explain the mechanics to us? How do you plan to incorporate all
Yeah.
these different elements? And
So I'll kind of give you 2 extremes, and
Yeah, go for
Hearthstone
it.
was a great example because that sort of iterates on the depth point. So the key challenges I'm facing are how do you get tactical depth? So the core satisfying need of this audience is they don't want to just play a game and win. They want to own their opponent. And they want to do so by creatively expressing themselves in a way that it's like, I didn't just beat you, but I used combo A, B, and C to just completely crush you in this really unique, creative way. That's what needs to happen. And on one end of that extreme, you've got games that are, sort of, they give you this dungeon crawler or card mechanic, but they just sort of all go on like a tap mechanic. You go in your session, your battle looks like tap, 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 and now I'm done. Or you hit the skip button. And you just let it auto-calculate the whole battle because you don't even have time to play the game, which is just doesn't hit that need, right? It gives you the short session, but it doesn't give you the need, right? And then on the opposite end of that, you get a game like Hearthstone, which is masterfully crafted. They've taken a game of Magic the Gathering, condensed it down into a session length about 10, maybe 15 minutes or so, where you can get online, but the problem I have is that 10 minutes, it's a short window, but it's not 3 minutes. And I don't have 10 minutes. And I especially don't have 10 uninterrupted minutes where I can go playing without, my kids coming up and saying, hey, Daddy, and vying for attention because kids will always win.
Yeah.
And Hearthstone will always lose. And I don't like to lose.
I don't know.
And I will always lose at Hearthstone.
Kimmy doesn't know this, but earlier today she called me 3 times and I didn't answer because I was playing Hearthstone.
I kind of actually figured that was why.
Wow, you see, Hearthstone won. And
I
you
can't
lost.
open.
That's-
I can't
ouch,
open
man.
the call on my phone.
While he's playing.
Well,
I got it. Oh my gosh.
Whatever, Jeremy ignores
People
me all
over
the time.
games. People over games.
I like
I
it.
knew I was going to see her in 2 minutes.
Well, Ross, this has been so wonderful. Kind of as we're gonna just kind of wrap up now, but we always like to ask our guests when they come on the episode. Do you have any piece of advice you'd like to give, or kind of some final words? A lot of our audience is EAE students. They want careers like yours. They're going into the game industry. They want to be designers, graphic artists, things like that.
Let's make this a little more specific because tonight or last
Yeah.
night you're going to talk about. You're going to talk specifically to kind of people in the industry, people who are looking to get developed. So I want you to talk right now to freshmen EAE majors who
talk to me and Logan.
who think that they want to go into video games and are trying to figure that out.
Awesome. Okay. Well, let me ask one more specific part about your question. Are you looking for people that want to have advice just get in the industry, like work at a AAA studio, that want to start their own games, or they could be doing other and they're not sure yet? Which one of those am I answering to?
I think the first one, a little bit more specified.
More studios.
More
So
studios.
they want to get into a AAA studio.
They want to get into
Yeah.
a AAA studio.
Okay, great. All right,
Yeah.
so here's the key advice I would recommend. Build games. Build many games. Learn. engage with teammates, demonstrate that you can work well with teammates, and practice communicating and talking about your accomplishments so that when it comes time to meet and interview with teams, you've got a great background and a great way of coming across and reading people. When you meet people in the industry, this is very key. You want to approach industry people with the attitude of, how can I help? As opposed to, here's what I did. And this is a lesson I kind of learned over time, that when you come at people trying to sell yourself, and you're competing at these conventions and things like that to meet people and sell yourself, you want to do that, but you want to open with, tell me about yourself. What are you doing? What's cool about you? And how can I help or partner with you? Because that's going to get people's attention. They like to feed off of the sort of the giving aspect. And once you're in the door, they can start to see the value you have to offer, and you'll sell yourself at that point.
Cool. So have confidence, not arrogance.
Yes.
I like
That's what
that.
I got from that.
That's really good. Well, Ross, thank you so much. Everybody else, do we have any last words?
Looking forward to later today at the EA thing.
Yeah.
That's true. Definitely. I assume, do you know, Ross, will it be videoed tonight?
I will be videoing it personally.
Perfect. Good
and
deal.
I will put it on my channel. So absolutely,
There you go.
please
And then
check
do you
it
want
out.
to, give your channel
Plug
a
your
quick
channel.
shout out.
Yes, I wish I knew what the channel ID is because it's like some weird character number. But go to Google, go to videos, and search how to start a game company, and I will be the first hit.
Awesome.
It's true.
We have proof it works.
Yeah, we do.
And at some point in the future, I do own the domain howtostartagamecompany.com, but I haven't set it up yet. So eventually that will work, but for now, Google search.
Awesome. Well, thank you, Ross. Thank you, everybody else.
Yeah, it's been a pleasure. Thank you so much for having me today.
Likewise. And Ollie out.
Geek out.
The Geekwave is a production of University of Utah Student Media. You can find more episodes, blogs, and videos at kutradio.org/thegeekwave. You can also follow us on Facebook and Twitter for updates and info on geek events at the University of Utah. The Geekwave theme song is Geek Dream by Conquer Monster. You can download it for free at conquermonster.bandcamp.com.